Hey guys, Oscar from MST.TV here. We're at Nationals in Pittsburgh, and I'm with Tony, aka AsianYensation from Reddit. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Just got in from driving. Look pretty tired.
Yeah, it was a long 10-hour drive.
Yeah. So if you don't know who he is, AsianYensation, he runs an Instagram account, and he's one of the biggest collectors in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever. He has cards like my fake Leonardo Skyship, but he has the real one, which is crazy. This is one of the most rare cards in the entire world. A couple questions for you today. So I really want to know, how much have you spent so far in your collection?
So altogether, I've totaled up. I have a spreadsheet of all of my values that I keep of things that I buy. Right now, I've spent around $20,000 total. But I try to maintain my ratio of buying at 50%, which is actually really good for prize cards.
Yeah.
So my ratio of what I buy for and then what the market value of the cards actually is.
Oh, so you only buy at 50%?
Well, in general, sometimes I buy 75, 80, but then I try to equal it out by buying 40, 30 sometimes.
Yeah, what about like very high value like prize cards like the special?
Stuff like this,
what percentage usually?
It's really hard to negotiate deals with this because there are so few copies in the world. This one I picked up from a guy in Italy who won 4th place at Worlds, and you can't buy really high value price cards at like low ratios. It was very expensive, I'll say that.
Yeah. 20,000, that's actually not that much. I've seen pictures of your collection, it's massive.
It is massive.
You're famous, if you haven't seen the famous picture of Kaiba's Briefcase, of like many decks, so 20,000 for that is actually incredibly cheap.
That's all the prize cards, and then also the briefcase, everything meta, and then trade binders.
That's crazy.
I try to keep most of the spending down.
Yeah. So next question, what do you do for a living that lets you, support this kind of hobby? Because some players, they're students or people who haven't necessarily got very well into the world, have difficult times affording this game, and they always say, oh, it's so expensive, the meta's so expensive. So as someone who has access to so many cards, what do you do?
I actually have 3 different jobs right now. I mainly work full-time as a controls engineer, which means I design electrical systems for industrial machine lines. And that's my full-time job, and then I also am a part-time musician. I play with a band on Fridays at bars in Nashville.
Oh, what's the band called?
Our band's called Smoky Nights.
Smoky Nights?
Yep.
Okay, so go check them out.
Yeah, and so that's my second job, and then on weekends and events like this, I do a small vending and things like that.
Vending.
So, kind of like 3 different jobs, but I keep busy, definitely.
Yeah. I know a lot of my friends who just do vending on the side as a way to kind of support their hobby.
Yeah, yep. And it definitely, spending money on Yu-Gi-Oh cards is a lot nicer when you got that money from selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So were there any purchases you've ever regretted?
I can't say that I've regretted too many prize card purchases, but I do regret some of my early playmat purchases because I wasn't really big into the playmat market, and if you don't know, playmats depreciate in value really quickly, especially judge mats and things like that. If you buy them at the events, they might be anywhere from $150 to $200. Later on eBay, they'll sell for $50 or $40.
I tried to buy that Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon mat at regionals.
Yeah.
They were wanting like $150.
I mean, regional mats end up being around $30, $40 on eBay. The playmat market is kind of rough, but yeah, I don't really regret any of the prize card purchases I've made because I always try to wait till I find the best deal and then make the purchase.
So how do you feel about metagame value depreciation? You see the cards like Dante, which was $60 like a year ago, and now it's like a $5 secret rare. The rarity didn't even change. How does that feel? How do you feel about that, and how does that affect your collection and vending?
Well, I guess it should be common knowledge to most players by now that the meta is definitely not stable for investments. That being said, I do have a Kaiba's briefcase of all the 30 decks that I put together. So basically what I do is I consider the money that I put into buying meta cards just a sunk cost, basically just entertainment cost that I use to play the decks over a period of months, and I don't really expect to make money off of meta decks. I'm not going to try and flip those. I keep them in the briefcase, I'm well aware that pretty much everything meta goes down eventually. Just, the money that I do invest is more in prize cards and things like that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that, actually. That's how I see it. Every time I buy a meta deck or I miss some meta cards, I just take it as, okay, that's money spent, it's gone.
Yep.
How much I play the game, that's what I'm getting from it. How much fun I'm having the game with my friends, that's what I'm getting from it.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel like that's a big of a problem for me anyways. But of course, we're adults with working jobs, we have means. to achieve these kind of goals. Other people with, who are still students may not be able to.
Right, and the best thing again is to just I try and trade for most of it. So if you can trade for it or get it at a decent price, then it's worth it.
So what's the most valuable card in your collection? Okay, so what's the most difficult card you've ever had to acquire? Like what took the longest amount of time and effort, or you just couldn't find the card?
I guess that's kind of a tough question. I'd have to say probably the Pharaoh's Tour Shrink.
Oh.
So this is a European price card, and there were very few of these released because the Pharaoh's Tour, the second round, didn't have that many of them. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there are only 6 English copies. So of my prize cards, it was really difficult to track down, but luckily I had a couple European connections that were able to track it down for me, and then we had a group Facebook message with some guys in Italy to. I mean, it was tough because of the language barrier and the time difference.
Yeah. Oh, so,
yeah. But yeah, we eventually worked it out, and that I would have to say that was the toughest to find. The Pharaoh's Tour Shrink.
Okay, I actually didn't even know a card like that existed until now. Funny story though, the hardest card for me to find on the complete opposite end of the spectrum from a scrub was actually an Ultra Jax Knight. I wanted to build it for a Yu-Gi collection kind of picture, and I just could never find that card. I was looking for my goal was to trade for all the cards of the collection. I didn't want to buy any online, and I ended up just buying it online, and I broke that promise. So that was unfortunate, but I mean, pretty big difference here. Clearly, we are different collectors. Yeah. So how long did it take you to acquire such a large collection? How long have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing since I was a little kid. So I actually started out playing the OCG game before it was released in TCG. So this was I don't know, 1999, 2000.
Oh yeah.
And then when it came out in 2002, I played a little bit too. But I've only been seriously collecting and playing since 2012. So it's been 4 years.
4 years, okay. Yeah, that's kind of similar to me too. I started as a kid. Mom bought me Blue Eye Structure deck, played with my friends on the playground, and then quit for most of grade school, and then came back at the end of grade school because one of my friends told me that, oh, you should watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, let's get our cards out, and then suddenly we're playing meta decks and everyone hates their lives. Have you ever had a trade go wrong?
Not too many times, but yeah, I guess actually last year at Nationals, it might not have been last year, it might have been 2 years ago, when jump slipers were like $100, remember that?
Yeah.
I had 3 jump slipers, and I was trying to make a deal, trading my slipers away for a lot of cards from another guy, and we had all our cards laid out on the table. It took us maybe an hour and a half, and at the very end of it, he kind of looked at everything and said, nah, I'm good. So I would count that as a trade gone wrong.
Yeah, that is really annoying.
Yeah.
That is not cool of that guy. I mean, if you didn't want those slipers, you should have just been like, nah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to spend $300 on slipers. So that's actually pretty rough.
And you can get them for only 15, 20 bucks.
Yeah, they tanked hella hard. You shouldn't have taken that deal. What's the standard procedure for someone who is looking to buy a prize card, like a Silver Sky ship?
Well, I don't know if there's really a standard procedure. I don't actually sell most of the cards in my personal collection. Only if I have extras of a prize card, because I like to keep one of every copy.
Yeah.
But if someone's looking for a really high-end card, I have a lot of contacts that I can have them communicate with, and sometimes it comes through, sometimes it doesn't. Stuff like that is never reliable to find because there are so few copies of the cards.
Yeah. So what in terms of how you usually do it, you just someone would contact you, or you would just ask around, you would know
I have a lot of
won Worlds, you would ask them personally?
Not usually that. I have a lot of people message me saying, hey, can you find me blank? Can you find me this prize card? And a lot of times I'll redirect them to a contact I know has that prize card or has access to it.
Yeah, okay. So if you're looking to buy a prize card, get contacts.
Yep.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Black Market, shout out. They have really good dank deals. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dank deals, ironically.
Yep, Facebook groups
are great, and they're basically run by the same people. So what does your family or significant other think of you owning such a huge collection? Because, my sister doesn't really know that I play the game that much, and she sees all these binders that I have, and she's like, what is this costing you? Are you crazy? They don't understand, they're disconnected from this kind of community.
Well, I guess my family and girlfriend are very supportive of my hobbies. They don't participate at all. My brothers used to play, but they don't play anymore.
Yeah.
So they don't really participate, but they understand that it's one of my biggest hobbies, and collection is a passion. So they're very supportive. Yeah.
Very supportive. Okay. That's the opposite of my family. Okay, so I mean, you have all these prize cards, and it become at some point they become a liability, right? Definitely become a liability, especially when you take them to events like these. We're very grateful for you for showing us Skyship.
Sure.
But what steps do you take to kind of secure your collection at home, or like when you come to events like these? Obviously, you don't bring them unless it's by me.
Right. No, actually, once my collection got to the point where I felt like at a certain point I needed to secure it some way. So I looked into insurance, and the insurance rates for a collection that big were insanely high. It was ridiculous.
No one was willing to insure it, I guess.
No, because some of them are so unique, that it's almost impossible to replace them.
Yeah.
So instead of doing a really high insurance rate, I decided to go with a safe. So I have a safe at home that I keep all of my stuff in. It's fireproof, theft-proof. It's very quality safe.
Very high quality safe for you.
It's like Kaiba's vault.
He's got Kaiba's vault and Kaiba's deck box. Was Kaiba your favorite character?
I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess.
Everyone likes to be Yugi. I actually like Kaiba more than Yugi. I'm pretty sure Tombox is all about the Yugi life, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have a card that has a really unique story behind it?
Yeah, actually, I brought it with me here. This is Stardust Divinity. So the story behind the Stardust Divinity is pretty unique. This is one of the rarest WCPS super replicas that's given out every year at Japanese Nationals. So this year was 2011, and in 2011 Japan had the tsunami, which not only postponed all of the tournaments throughout Japan, but it also reduced the amount of people that were able to attend Nationals. So only 58 attendees went in 2011, so only 58 of these were given out.
That's a great, I wish I could attend Nationals and just... No, but if you understand the context behind it, it's because this is not really technically a prize card, it's just, I guess, an entry.
It is. They're not technically prize cards. A lot of collectors consider them similar to prize cards because they hold a lot of value, and they are sealed, especially if you can find sealed copies with the I don't know what you would call it, the plastic.
Yeah, the wrap, the shrink wrap.
So finding a sealed copy of this is just insanely hard because even a lot of people that get them in Japan, they open them before sell them. So there's not too many sealed copies of these cards floating around, especially with so few attendants that year.
Yeah, definitely. So how it happens is I think it's the Ultra one is the one from the previous year, is that correct?
That's correct. So the first place World's prize card, there's 2 copies of it given out as Ultras to the winner of the year and the Dragon Duel winner, and then the following year they reprint that card as a super replica for Japanese Nationals. So it's kind of like, here they give us Minerva's giant hands.
Yeah, reprint.
Right. There they give these. So.
Okay. Well, I should go to Japanese Nationals next time instead of Pittsburgh. All right. So thank you very much for your time with us. I think I learned a great deal about collecting, and I'm sure our viewers greatly appreciate you showing us your 2 very, very nice cards. Leonardo Skyship, by far my favorite card of all time. Very glad to have seen that card. And do you have any shoutouts you want to give before we close this out?
Might have to think about that one. I don't know. Maybe
shoutouts to your Instagram, I guess?
Yeah.
At AsianYensation.
If you're interested in following updates on prize cards or just cool Yu-Gi-Oh stuff in general, AsianYensation on Instagram.
Yeah. Or contact him if you want to sell next World's prize cards.
Yep.
He's definitely looking for that. And shout out to his band.
Yeah, okay. Smoky Nights. You can follow us on Facebook. We perform around the Nashville area.
Nashville area? Okay, so if you're a Nashville viewer, come check him out. Come check out a Yu-Gi-Oh player play music for you. All right, thank you very much for the interview, Tony.
Yeah. Thank you, Oscar.
Take care.